Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial we'll be learning how to cut and sew this beautiful top. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. And without further delay, let's dive into the tutorial. I have here with me my 2 yards of Ankara fabric, my scissors, my tape rule and my tailor's chalk. Now to start with, I'll be folding the fabric into two with the right side facing each other. And for this style, we'll be cutting out the back part first. So I'll be using my widest measurements to fold out the fabric, and that is my hip circumference. If your bust is bigger than your hip, then you have to use your bust circumference. Starting with my measurement, the upper part will serve as my shoulder line. Then from the shoulder line, I will come down by 10 inches and that will serve as my bust point. Then 16 inches for my half length, which is also my waist. And then I'll be using 24 inches for my top length. I'll be using 24 inches for my top length. So you can decide on where you want that to be. So yeah, you can see me marking 23 inches first, but I decided to make my top longer, so I'm adding 1 inch, which is making it 24 inches. And I'm just making my lines visible, my waistline, which is also my half length, then my bust point, that is where I'll be taking my bust measurement. And I told you earlier that the upper part will serve as my shoulder line. So, and now that I'm done, I'll be marking the half of my shoulder length, which is 7 inches. And also I'll be marking out my sleeve because this is a type of sleeve that is being cut with the shoulder, and so my sleeve length is going to be 9 inches, and I'm not going to add 1 inch allowance because I'll be turning it with lining. After that, I came down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope, and I'll be connecting it to my shoulder line. Now I made a mistake here while connecting it. The shoulder slope should reach the neck width after marking the neck, but because I've not marked my neck width, that is why I just stopped at the shoulder line. Please, when you're making your shoulder slope, please let the line touch the neck width. And I'll be coming down by 1 inch, and remember I said this is the back part, so I'll be coming down by 1 inch, and my neck width is 3 inches. On the bust line, I'll be marking quarter of my bust measurement, and that is 9 inches, and I'm also going to add 2 inches is allowance, and I'll also be adding 2 inches for sewing allowance. And I will come down by from the shoulder slope by 9 inches, depending on how wide you want your sleeve to be open. But 8 inches 9, it's okay. If you want it wider, you can come down, and I'm going to be connecting it by creating a slope there to join the bust line, and I'm just drawing my lines to know where to cut out for the sleeve, and that is what it looks like. So I'll be connecting it as so you can see on the screen, and I will go down to my half length and also mark my quarter of my waist measurement plus 2 inches is allowance and also 2 inches sewing allowance, and I'll be repeating the same thing for the top length, which is I'll be marking the quarter of my hip measurement and adding my ease allowance and also sewing allowance. And now that I'm done, I'll be connecting it. So before I move on, I am marking out 1 inch to serve as my hem, and just drawing a straight line. And now that I'm done, I'll be connecting the lines I made earlier. I decided to add ease allowance to mine because I don't want it too fitted. If you're comfortable with it being fitted, then you should stick with your normal measurement, and don't forget to add your sewing allowance. And you connect the lines like so. So I'll be marking half an inch as my sewing allowance for joining the shoulder to the front piece. And I will also go down to the down part of this top, and I'll be marking 2 inches from the M line. I will go up by 2 inches from the M line to mark out curve, to make that part of the blouse curve, and I will use my French curve to cover that part, to make that line, to make that part very smooth. And once I'm done, I will cut out the back piece. I was just making sure it is 2 inches. I was thinking if I should extend it or not. And this is what it looks like after marking it out. And now I am going to go ahead and cut out the fabric now. And my amazing family, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like, share, and also subscribe for the first timer. I love you all. Thank you so much. After cutting, this is what it looks like, and I'll be placing it on the fabric to also cut out the front piece. Now before I cut it out, I'll be leaving some allowance at the center front, which will serve as my button line, and I'm making use of 1.5 inches for that. And now what I will do next is to extend my bust line and my waistline, because that is going to serve as a guide on where to put my button. And I'm also using the neck width of the back to mark out the neck width for the front. And now what I'm going to do is to come up by 1 inch from the bust line, depending on how open or how much you want your cleavage to show, so I'll be coming up by 1 inch. If you like, you can decide to maintain the bust line, and I will connect to the neck width like so. To get the elongated slanted part of the front part, I will come down by 6 inches from the M line using my back piece as the guardian, and from the line, from that 1.5 inches line I left earlier, I will be marking 2 inches. I will mark it from that point. I will mark out 2 inches, and I will connect it down to the center front to give me that slant shape I want. I made a mistake here, so please, when you're connecting, connect down to that point you can see the emoji, that point I indicated. Now that I'm done, I will connect the slanted part of the front down to the side back as I am indicating. I will connect down. You can use your French curve, but I prefer to use my hand. So it's just to connect it down to the side back as you can see me. And once I'm done, I will go ahead to cut it out. This is me connecting back the lines I made mistake with earlier. As you can see, that is the right way to connect the lines, and we are done. So that's where the button will be, and I'm just going over what I measured, and now I'm going to cut out the front piece also, and this is what is going to look like. Cut it out just as so, as you can see on the screen. And I'm cutting out the shoulder slope, trimming out the excesses, and once I'm done trimming, I'm going to cut the back neckline and also cut out the front neckline. I will go ahead to also cut out the slanted parts of the front piece, and once I'm done, I will cut it open to give me two pieces, and this is what the front is going to look like. For the belt, my length is 20 inches and 2 inches wide, and I'll fold the fabric like so with the right side facing each other, and I'm going to stitch down as indicated with my finger, and I slanted one side of it also to give that belt like vibe. So I've gone ahead to stitch it down, and now what I'm doing is to turn it out to the right side, and I'm going to do that for the two pieces. You can decide to make your belt longer and wider, it's all your choice. Right now, I will place my belt at the waist side of the front piece, and I will pin down my belt inward as seen on the screen on the two sides of the of the front piece. For the sewing, I will place my front piece and the back piece together as seen with the right side facing each other, and I will go ahead and stitch down at the shoulder part as indicated with my finger, and I'll be doing the same for the other side also. So this is what it looks like after stitching it down, and I've also gone ahead to do the same thing for the lining, and now I'll be placing the lining together with the right side facing each other. As you can see, the part I stitched down on the lining will be facing the outer part, and I'm going to pin down from my neckline down to the front part as you can see on the screen. I'm going to pin down before heading over to the sewing machine to stitch it down. So I will stitch down all the part I pinned down as I'm indicating with my finger from the one side to the other part with the neckline inclusive. And I'm also going to stitch down the sleeve side also. This is what it looks like after stitching, and I'm just notching all the parts I sewed before turning it to the other side. Now I will turn it out from the part I have not sewn, and this is it looking all neat, and this is what it looks like. You can see it is looking nice and beautiful already, and I'm going to give it a good press before I go ahead to sew the other parts. This is it after ironing. For the down part, I will turn it in like so and pin it down. Repeat the same thing for the other side also, and for the back before heading over to the sewing machine to stitch it down. So I will stitch it down with the hem allowance I left earlier, which is 1 inch. Please make sure you use the inches you left so that the top will not be too short when you're done sewing. This top is very beautiful and so easy to cut and sew even as a beginner. If there's any part that is confusing, please go over the video again and again to understand it better. Okay, I'm done stitching the down part. I've gone ahead to notch it, and now I am turning it out, and this is what it looks like. One thing I love about inseam sewing is that it makes the sewing so neat, classy, and beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to place the front and back like so, as you can see, and what I'm going to do is to join by the side. Remember, I've not stitched down the side of the top, so I'll be stitching it down. After placing it like this, I'm going to put my hand into one side and bring it out at the other side of the top, and bring out and use it to turn in the clothes as seen, as you can see me doing. And now when you turn it that way, the fabric should face the fabric and the lining should face the lining. And so this is how it looks like: the fabric, the ankara facing the fabric and the lining facing the lining. And now I'm going to pin down all through. I'll pin round all through and stitch it down by the sewing allowance I left earlier. So this is it after sewing, and I decided to trim out the excess fabric so it doesn't look bulky when I turn it out. I'm also notching that part before turning it out to the right side. And this is what it looks like after turning it out to the right side. So for the other side, I'm going to take my fabric as you can see on the screen, and I'm going to pin it down round just like I did for the other side. Now when you're pinning down, make sure the fabric is facing the fabric and the lining is facing the lining. And after pinning it down for a while, you will notice it will get to a particular point where it will be very difficult for you to pin together again. Then at that point you stop and stitch down and turn it over to the right side. So I'm just going to trim off the excess fabric also and notch it and turn it out to the right side. So after turning it, this is what it should look like. Remember I said you get to a point where it will be difficult to turn it again. So it is going to be open this way. Then you fold it in and stitch down on the sewing machine. So guys, this is the final outlook: the inner looking neat and the front also, the right side looking neat. Now the next thing is to attach your button and create your buttonhole, and we are done with the tutorial. Thank you for watching so far. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. God bless you. Bye.